Mentioning Voyager did remind me of something I wanted to talk about while I was still here. So when I was 4, I broke my femur in Connecticut. I fell off a scooter. And I had to spend more than 2.5 months in hospital. Most of which confined to bed with my leg up in the air. And it sucked. One of the things I can remember watching while I was there was a documentary about the Voyager space probes.
Oh, neat.
And I was a bit confused because at the time I thought that there were actually people in the Voyager space probe.
Oh no.
This might have been the influence of the Star Trek my grandmother watched. But that probably had a...
Guys?
at a young age, an impression on me at a young age. But I also remember that this was at the hospital. So this was Victoria General, the hospital in town where the pediatric ward is. They had an NES.
Ooh.
This would have been about 89 or 90. But unfortunately, this was in the days where there were only wired controllers. And I couldn't go, they could wheel me my bed into the room where there was the one console, but they couldn't, the cord, length of cord wasn't long enough for me to reach. So I didn't get to play video games when I was in hospital all those years.
We've got extension cords now.
We do now. So this is a long way of saying that the cause of the Desert Bus is raising money for and Child's Play is something that's very important to me because I was a kid who had to spend a long time in hospital and needed probably, I don't remember exactly, but probably could have done with a bit more things to keep their mind off things.
I was in hospital when I was very young. Like I think I was like 2 or 3. And I had to have an emergency tonsillectomy. So I still only have one tonsil. They didn't want to do both because it was, I don't know, dangerous or something. So I was in the hospital. And I don't really remember, I was very, very, the only thing I remember like little bits of stuff, but I remember getting to go to like the toy room. I don't think it was even like, I don't think they even had like a Nintendo or anything, but like the toy room they had.
I remember a toy room that wasn't the same room. I don't think it was the same room as where the NES was.
And like 90% of the stuff was like broken. Like it was like Transformers that had had their heads cut off, their heads broken off, and weird little action figures that were like faced around backwards and that kind of stuff. It's that, and as the Child's Play folks have talked about many times here, it's that idea of like, when you are doing a budget for a hospital, it's hard to segment out that money. Take the money. It's like, does the money go towards whatever new MRI machine? Does it go to an extension cord for your Nintendo? But I like that the way that Child's Play sort of has, donates this money to the hospital, but it's sort of earmarked for specific usage. So it's like, this is not just into the general income of the hospital to be used for whatever it needs to be used. This is, for a specific purpose, and it has allowed us to now, and especially Child's Play has done some, has sponsored studies and done things. We find out how much benefit there is to this stuff, in terms of reducing use of medication, anxiety, and better outcomes, and all this kind of good thing. It's one of the aspects of child's play that I think is really interesting, and it has that sort of positive, it's sort of a positive impact, which of course you would get from donating to a hospital anyway, but it's sort of a specific kind of impact, a specific kind of influence that you want to have that I think is pretty important.